Hello, my name is Jalen DeLeon and this is my art history final video project on Etruscan mythology sculptures. So to begin with a little timeline on where and when the Etruscan period occurred, it was estimated to have been established around 750 to around 500 BCE or before the Common Era in what is now called Italy. Listed below are also other important ages before the establishment of this era. Some of them can be the Middle Bronze Age, which was 1600 to 1300 BCE, the Recent Bronze Age, the Final Bronze Age, and then finally with the Iron Age in around 950 to 750 BCE. Moving on, I'll be referencing two books that I dove into to better understand the work and the history during this era, first being the Historical Dictionary of the Etruscans by Simon Stoddart, and also on The Fascination of Objects, Greek and Etruscan Art in the Shefton Collection by Sally Waite. Here it's referenced that the era of Etruscan art is almost entirely anonymous except for some specific people. Most importantly, I believe that Volca is a very known artist from this time. He was tasked with decorating the Jupiter Optimus Maximus and was also sent to Rome from Veii to complete this project. However, on another note, this era is widely known to have major influences from Greco-Roman culture and mythologies, seeing as many deities in both cultures have an equivalent to each other. I referenced this information from a list on Wikipedia, which is stated later in my sources, just to compare the two. Going off of Etruscan mythology, the god Apollo is known to be the god of sunlight and music. Here, the Apollo of Veii is a great example of Etruscan art. Being influenced by local styles, it has been estimated to have been made in around 510 to 500 BCE, and it still stands tall at 5'11", now residing in the National Etruscan Museum in Rome. Most likely to have been made by Volca, it contains a dynamic movement pose with expressive lines all along the body and a balanced composition with the pillar supporting the statue underneath. It was also created with terracotta, even though you can observe that since it has major wear and tear, as seen through the arms are no longer on the sculpture itself. Moving forward, we have the Chimera of Arezzo, which is another preserved Etruscan sculpture that I will be talking about today. A chimera was known throughout mythology to be a fire-breathing hybrid animal bearing resemblance to a lion while also having a snake as its tail. But here it is a remarkable ancient bronze sculpture dated to around the 5th century BCE. It was discovered in Arezzo, Italy in 1553 and now resides in a national museum in Florence, Italy today. Although the artist is unknown, it is still considered one of the finest examples of Etruscan art since it showcases both the technical ability and the imagination that the Etruscans had during this time period. Here's the last slide I have here to conclude the differences and similarities between the two art periods. As an example, I'm going to be bringing back the statue of Apollo from earlier and then comparing it to another statue of the same Apollo. However, it was made in 200 to around 300 BCE Rome. So although similar, one thing that can be concluded between the two is that they have different materials. It was known that the Etruscans were known to have used primarily terracotta and bronze casting for their sculptures and artworks, while the Greeks and the Romans primarily used ivory stone, which is used in this statue here, marble, and other materials to create their sculptures. So having discussed ancient mythology and sculptures, I actually wanted to create my own digital rendition of Apollo into a cartoony, almost characterized style. But before I play the time-lapse of the painting, here are my sources listed. But thank you so much for watching and please enjoy the time-lapse.